That's what I'm
All
saying.
right,
You're
gentlemen.
not just going to say cross like this. That's
All
it.
right. Welcome,
You can't
welcome,
you can't pray to the rosary yet.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the podcast of Action Required Media. Here, we are dedicated to discussing hard truths and finding remedies for our problems. On this platform, we will stay engaged on all happenings in Mama Liberia, not limited to politics, religion, development, economy, security, crimes, war on illegal drugs, employment, youth, growth, and food production. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Action Required Media. We say please like and share our show. Please like and share our show. On this platform, we educate, entertain, and empower. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be discussing some important topics um, pertaining to Mama Liberia. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I will have, prior to going into our topics, I will want for us to go to opening prayer, and that will be done by Brother Edwin Poor. Brother Edwin,
All
will you
right,
please
let
pray
us
for us?
bow. Father, may you increase, may we decrease, inspire us with wisdom as we expound on these topics. We also need your discernment in the country so people can gravitate towards you. We want this podcast to be heard everywhere so they can hear the truth and the messages. We know there's many podcasts, but we discuss what is truth and what the country needs. So we're prescribing. Take control, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Edwin. Thank you, Brother Edwin. So, ladies and gentlemen, our discussion for today, we're going to be discussing the visa suspension on Liberia, the restriction of visa in Liberia by the American government. Also, we're going to be discussing the economic growth, economic prosperity, stagnation, economy. What can Liberians do to foster economic growth in Liberia? And again, can Liberia economy survive without the Liberians in the diaspora? So, ladies and gentlemen, here to discuss this sensitive issue, we're going to start with Edwin Paul to introduce himself. Brother Edwin.
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Thank you for tuning into Action Required Media. My name is Edwin Saipor Jr. I'm a writer. Um, I'm excited to be on this panel today to discuss issues. It sounds like a recording because we've been doing these things for a long time. But actually, I'm actually excited for the economic topics today. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. This is Pastor Wallo. Happy Sunday to you, and I'm looking forward to today's discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, happy Sunday, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching us from. Again, the name is Sergeant Leo Montgomery. Um, Welcome to the podcast of Action Required Media. Please share and like our show. Please share and like the show. We also look forward to your comments in the comment section. Thank you.
We're not hearing you.
Yeah, we're not hearing you, Joe. Can you hear me, guys? Yeah, I
We're
want to
hearing,
see you. Okay.
we're hearing you, but we can't hear him.
Just real quick. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, but there's a breakage. Yeah, for some reason
Yeah,
the system.
now we can.
Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me? One second. What happened? All right, guys. Can you hear me?
Much better.
Okay. Sorry, guys, for that interference. And again, I just want to say, um, welcome to the show again. Let's have a wonderful and blessed time. Uh, you guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's have a great and wonderful time. So, we, the first thing we're going to be discussing today. Am I still audible? Can you hear me?
Very good. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to be discussing today is a relevant uh, issue. As you guys can see on the screen. Um, so I know Dr. Waddle suggested that we talk about this today. So what I would do, we give Dr. Waddle few minutes to kind of talk about what this means to Liberia and Liberians around the world. And then if we have any other questions or things to add on, we can just go ahead and chime in. Dr. Wallow, do you want to take over from here?
Yes, thank you, Brother Joe. Um, so the U.S. Department of State have sent out this visa pause for I think about 75 countries, including Liberia. What that means is that there will be no visa issuance for F1 visa, which is student visa, J1, students and scholarship employment-based visa holders, uh, H H1, H1B, O1, TN, and E3, which are all immigrant visas. There's a pause that has been placed on them, B121 visas as well. So that people that have their family here, like if your husband was here, want to file for you in Liberia for his wife to join him here in the US, that's not going to happen. If a husband and his wife, a family were here, they want to send for their children to join them in the US, that's not going to happen. So these visa pause or restrictions when they affect a lot of families in the US and in Liberia. And the reason this is very important, gentlemen, is that we Liberians, America has been our strongest and long-term ally, right? Liberians will rather travel to the US than go to any other country in the world. This visa restriction or the visa pause is going to hurt a lot of people because families will be separated. Uh, Children will not be able to join their parents, and people that are trying to further their education coming to the US, whether it's through university sponsor visa, those things that are not going to happen anymore. And why this is, according to the State Department, because Liberians in the US, I think 48% of Liberians in the US are dependent on government on government
Assistance?
support
Mm-hmm.
existence. Yeah. So Liberians, will take public assistance and not be able to work. I really want to challenge that because we Liberians, we are hardworking people. I mean, I know when I came to the US, personally for me, when I came to the US as a refugee, I had the opportunity to apply for public assistance. Okay. Uh, our entire family, every one of us, we refused to do that, right? But we went in search of finding a job or trying to get to go to school. So I know that is not unique for me and my family. So Liberians are hardworking. You go to Minnesota, Liberians are engaged in healthcare. They are engaged in a private sector. You go to different states. These things, Liberians are very, very hardworking. So for the U.S. government to say that because Liberians, are dependent on the government, I don't think that I don't think that is sufficient enough. But I posted a video where the government officials in the Trump administration were discussing what happened recently that we talked about on the show concerning the current Speaker of the House, where he and supposedly his sister, got married because he needed document, right? And that incident was being referenced that public officials from Liberia come to the United States, get married to their sisters, get married to their relatives, for them to get document. When we were saying on the show that things like that going to affect our nation's image, people were overlooking it. When you are in a public position like a Speaker of the House of Representatives, there are certain things you should never, never do. There are certain things that should never be mentioned about you, because those positions are positions of integrity, a position of trust. Now, when people outside of Liberia see that our public officials are doing those kind of things, then it become, it become, a problem for Liberians in the diaspora. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to pause, and then maybe if I have something else to add, I'm going to add about. It's disturbing, and I hope the Liberian government can address the nation on this issue. I know that the Foreign Affairs Ministry have issued, a statement that is going to be temporary, but they were not the one that made the decision for Liberia to be placed on this visa pause. So they are not the one that are going to determine when it's going to be lifted. So they can assure Liberians that, right? But it's just unfortunate that Liberians have to go through that.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Water, for that clarity and brief explanation on that. Gentlemen, any of you guys want to comment on this so we can move on to the next topic?
Yes. Unfortunately, that's the way you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say. This is a good thing. It's a beautiful thing, actually. Um, the Liberian people and the Somalian people, they're doing too much. Like we can say in the street, they're doing too much. But stealing upwards $6 billion to fraud and all this stuff. They're doing too much. They're making us to look bad. Now, because of Somalia, the flashlight have been shown on Liberia because they're the second most populated African in Minnesota. Now they discovered that 48.5% of the Liberian people are on welfare. They're doing too much. So the people that you're trying to preach for and talk about, they're just doing too much. We need good people to be here. We need more people like us to come here so they can help that people. They're doing too much. I'm sorry, but they need to go back. They're doing too much.
Um,
That's all I gotta say on this thing. They're doing too much.
I I kind of disagree with you, Edwin, on this topic. Um, to be honest with you, they are hardworking Liberians that are here who are also using the system. Um, it's a system that is set up in a way to help people, give them a jump start. So if you once use it and you reach a stage where you can stand on your own, then I think it's imperative that you do so, so others who don't have that resources can be able to use our resources as well. But that shouldn't be used as a means of trying to benefit more than what it should be. Um, Again, these are, I think these are minor issues. All that can be done is just straight policy on those government assistances, and maybe more document required for assistances to be for people to be approved. I think the system can get better. I would disagree with you on that issue that they should be sent back. Um, if people were criminals in a sense where they are causing harm to other Americans or other national here in this country, then I said let the court takes a course and then deal with them the way it should be. But these are minor issues. I think it just needs strict restriction on how application can be done for government assistances. And again, it's not a good thing. But again, I'm just saying um, the punishment shouldn't be that harsh. There are a lot of good people who want to come in, and that shouldn't stop, you know, the process. And again, that's where I would stop. Brother Kurma,
Yeah.
Well,
anything?
well,
Before,
Brown, let me come in real quick. Wars talk, number screams. These numbers just came out. They never said 48.5% people are on welfare and working. Were all working people were using the system correctly. They're talking about people that are on welfare that are not going to work. They're just on welfare. And then if you found one bed bug in your house in the couch, you start shining the flashlight everywhere. Guess what? They put a flashlight in Maryland today. 49 people were caught scamming checks and all kinds of stuff. They put that. They made them famous. So we can't be behind, and we are responsible African people, especially from Liberian descent. You can't back these people, bro. You have to make it easier for people like Lusha Kotu to come. You have to get the bad people out. These cameras that they put up, 49 people, why is that? They're going statewide now. They're going to Ohio. They're going to Philadelphia. They're going everywhere. They're shining the flashlight going everywhere. Now it's gonna get so overwhelming that you might ain't know something because the numbers at the number. The number that I just gave you is now 48% people on welfare and working. They're just on welfare. They're replicating the
But
Somali people. They
Sam,
see the
but
Somali people
Sam,
driving
I would
nice cars and
disagree. I would
everything.
disagree with your characterization. Um, there are a lot of people who are on welfare and still working because they would need some financial strength to be able to accommodate them to stay in whatever welfare assistance they are getting. Again, Dr. Water, I think you wanted to say something on this, and then we'll go
yeah,
to Sergeant Montgomery.
yeah. So what I wanted to say is that, you know, I don't think any of us on this platform will condone or indulge into,
Yeah,
people defrauding
defrauding the
or,
country. Yeah.
criminal activities and stuff like that on the part of Liberians. The United States government did not start looking for Liberians because Liberians are defrauding either the federal government or they were involved in the criminality. Every country faces that. Even the United States, there are criminals here, right? But what I was mentioning is that there has to be something on the top level that have happened for which the United States government have started uh, looking at Liberians and including Liberia on a visa pause. The first time they did it, Liberia wasn't mentioned, right? Why this time Liberia is mentioned? Why this time Liberia is included with these countries? America has been our long-standing ally. The relationship that we have with America, we're supposed to improve that relationship every time because Liberia is not giving America anything. We are benefiting from America. If you are benefiting from from a relationship, you try to protect it. You try to keep it in a way that you continue to get the benefits that you are getting. So it is not because of what Liberians in the US have done. Individual Liberians know there is something that maybe our national government have done, or there is something about our diplomatic relationship with America that was affected, for which Liberia was listed on this visa pause. And I think We should look deeper than that because it's going to affect Liberians. There are Liberians in the US, okay, that want their family to join in here. That cannot happen. I mean, just think about it, Edwin. If you have your wife in Liberia and you wanted your wife to come here, if you have your children in Liberia and you have gone through the process, and now for them to come here and then you hear this kind of news, it's devastating actually.
It
Okay, so
is.
I'm
It
not
is.
talking
It
about
is.
criminal activities. I'm talking about, you know, why Labrador was listed in the first place.
Okay. Thank you, that water.
Well,
Dr. Man.
one of your representatives, if you want to look for
Edwin.
why, one of your
Edwin.
representatives sided
Let's
with
give.
the Venezuelan president when you were still a president of Venezuela. So you can start digging deep into that one. He sided with them. When you went to the UN and
Edwin.
voted for them,
Let's
he
get.
sided
Let's
with
get.
them. So if
Let's
you're
get
looking for your fault.
Sergeant Montgomery a little bit of time.
Well, again, let me say good evening, good morning to our listening audience via social media. Um, I tend to agree more with Edwin, but let me tell you, say, news flash, there is a new sheriff in town, and let me publicly stand here and thank my president in President Trump for what he's doing. I tend to love the guy, hate him or like him, but let me take this from a different angle. Do you know why you lock your door before you go to bed? Or whilst you are indoors, do you know why your door is locked?
Safety, security.
Because of the fear of burglars,
Yeah.
because of the fear of intruders. And so when we have a president in Trump who is willing and trying to do everything according to what the people voted him for, yeah, it's little Labrador having problem with it. Yeah, it's little Labrador. You can't even feed your people. But Trump is our guy. We are pushing that he will go for a third term. We are pushing that we are making that happen. Trump will have to go for a third term. Yeah, I tend to say on this public platform, if every country around the world begin to have a one president Trump, this world will be a better place. I guarantee you. And that's in my view. That's my opinion. If around the world people begin to get somebody like Trump who will stand up, call him bully or whatever. Now let's go back to this whole visa restriction thing. That's a wallow. There are countries even in Liberia that are not on the list. Why must it be Liberia to be on the list? America always deals with interest. Once you fall out of America's interest, they see you as an outsider, they see you as an enemy, and they will come for you. The Israel that you see America defend Israel. Some of the issue on the political council, on the security council that you will see America is voting for Israel for, it will not make sense to the common eye. But it's all about interest. It's what you do, what Edwin does for me in my interest that will make Edwin value to me. In all aspects, America has gained from Liberia, so Liberia has gained from America, vice versa, however we want to put it. But that does not open the door to allow a small country like Liberia to come and start fraudulent acts in this country. And the people that are doing it, that are championing this, are sitting at the helm of office. Whether you want to call your speaker, go from there. In Minnesota, look, I'm not against welfare. I know family people. Look, welfare, however you want it, is a way of start off, right? To put you on a good foot. But in this Minnesota here, and I got families that there, I'm not trying to call out anything, but they say one apple spoils the tree, Dr. Wallow. Liberians, we are resilient people, we are hardworking people, but once you give us opportunity to slack immediately, people will find an opening for that. So what I'm saying here in 1 second, see you before I digress here, I must say that I believe and I agree with Edwin. A person who is not productive to your economy, a person who is not productive to your house, but rather they're eating the food while they are not working, if that person has a place for you to send them to, hey, I will not hesitate. Again, that's why I start with, why do you lock your door before you go to bed? Because of intruders. The opportunity is being given to Liberians for us to come here and better ourselves and our family. But what some of the guys do today, if you put Liberia on the news, the first on your search engine, the speaker, and all the negative things are coming up. When you found a Louis Brown going on a public stage accusing like America of bringing destruction in the region, if you find a Louis Brown who on this whole Iran issue blaming on record, blaming America for bullying, how can America stand to say, oh, these are my allies? Again, like I said, there's a new sheriff in town who don't see things politically correct like we do, but I love this guy. If you ask me, Trump must, you know what, let me just save it. But Trump is going to be our guy, whether the world like it or not. We are pushing that Trump will become a third-term president in this country and straighten the world. I will not speak much about
But
Liberia because
but
Yo,
Edwin,
can I say something?
we
go
are
ahead,
own,
Dr. Water.
our own guy anyways. Go ahead.
Um, I'm not going to respond to the Trump fighter because I think it was 56 or 58% of Americans said Trump's first year in office was a failure. Okay,
They brought him
so
back for the second time.
I'm not going to even
They
take
brought
it.
him back for the
For the
second time.
for the fake news CNN,
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
for fake
Okay.
news. That's where you
All right,
getting your
guys.
statistic from?
All right,
CNN,
guys.
MSNBC.
All right, guys. So I'm not going to respond to
But that the one that you just
what
comment on something I said, then you will not respond. You responding
majority
to
of
it.
Americans
Yeah, I will not say that you provide another information. I
of
will not put it
Americans
up.
say the first year in his second term is a failure, right? But my point here is I am not holding the United States government responsible for issuing a visa pause. I am saying that there is something that our government is not doing, for which Liberia have shown up on this list of 75 countries when we're supposed to have the strongest relationship with our long-standing ally, which is the United States. If Liberia show up on a visa pause or visa restriction, whatever it is called, that means that there is something our national government is not doing. Okay. So I am putting the responsibility on them. And then I said, issue like what happened with the speaker and his supposedly sister, and I think that we want to see our national leaders getting involved with because it was mentioned in one of the meetings with Trump officials, where they were making reference of Liberian officials taking advantage of the U.S. immigration process, getting married to their relatives because they need a status in the United States, right? These things affect the ordinary Liberians. The ordinary Liberians in the United States, whether they are on welfare or not, we don't know people's condition.
Yep.
Okay, there are so many Americans that are on welfare in this country, the greatest country on earth. There are so many Americans on welfare. We don't know people's condition. We don't know what people are going through. Some other people that are on welfare, they don't have document to work. Okay, they don't have document to work. They can't go back because they've been here for a very long time. What are they going back to? Okay, so let us not treat it as as if we don't really know what goes on in this country. My point here is our national government should be able to strengthen Liberia's relationship with the United States so that Liberia cannot be affected by something like this. It is ordinary Liberians that are affected. There are people that want their family to join them in the United States. They can't do that because there is a visa pause or a visa restriction. Okay,
And
and I think that is very, very unfortunate.
yep.
Yeah, I don't want to drag this topic because we got most important stuff to talk about. Let me come in. Like, a couple of things I need to. It's not a rebuttal, it's just a statement I gotta say. First of all, America has never been allied with Liberia. Liberia in their mind thinks they're allied with America.
Edwin, why would you
Because
say
if you
that?
have a good friend, if you have a good friend, so
Edwin,
you're
you're
trusted
wrong.
here.
Liberians
Edwin,
So
you
are
are
no,
allied
wrong.
with
no, if
America.
you have a
You
good
can't be
friend,
Let
saying
us
that.
see
so
the
you do
point.
something.
Let us see our
No,
point.
no,
Let us see
no,
the
no,
point.
no,
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 no.
you are wrong.
But you can't
No, no,
say
no.
you
No,
can't
he's
say
not.
Liberia
He's
is not an
not.
ally.
No, 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 no,
No,
no,
he's
no, no.
not
You can't
wrong.
say that.
America is
Listen
not
to
allied with
the
Liberia.
buttress to what he's saying.
Liberia thinks they're allied with America. America is not ally with
What are you talking?
America.
What are you talking about,
Right?
Edwin?
No, Liberia thinks they're ally with
You
America
can't say
because
that, bro.
if you have a good
So they let
friend,
me make a
if
point.
you,
Let me make a point.
no, 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 if you have a good friend, if you make one mistake, they can get penalized to the fullest. That's not what friends do. America can do that to Israel. They can start all the Israeli people when Israeli president they just welcome the Israeli spies that did all the damages to America over there and went meet up with the American ambassador. Are you kidding me? So this is your ally? This is the people that you think they're ally to you? You think in your mind you've been doing it. That's why the country is so behind, it's so retrogressive because you think in your mind that you're ally to America, but they're not ally to you. Those Ebola, those Chastera, all the things. So you can tell yourself that you ally to these people.
Edwin, let
No
me take
friend,
1 minute of your time.
no
Let me take 1
no
minute.
friend are gonna tell you say I'm gonna penalize you to the fullest simply you make that one mistake. Your friend always forgives you and find a way to work with stuff. That's not your friend in the first place. And then also one more thing I want to say is the Asian community, the Indian community, the reason why the black American community is behind the place, they don't critique themselves. They don't like accountability. You don't generalize yourself if you're trying to solve your problem. You tell me, so all American people, obviously there's more white people in America, so there's more white people on welfare than black people or even immigrants. But a situation in your corner, you address it directly and start generalizing people. That's the only way you're going to solve problem. If you
Let
don't
me
do
take
that, the problem
1 minute of your
persists.
time.
Go ahead.
Let me say this again, right? To our listening audience here, Liberian especially. If it's on the paper that America is our ally, in reality, take it, erase it. If it's in the books, if it's on paper, because again, not everything you read or believe. Look at the reality. Look at the reality on the ground. It will tell you if America is our ally or not. Let me just tell you something. America has been in a seat of every time there is something to clamp down on any Africa and on any African country, Liberia has to be on that list. I will give you the 20 years back research. You're going to do it. Anytime America, and this is not just Trump, anytime if America is clamping down on African countries that they want to clamp on, whether it's factual or not, Liberia has to be on that list. So when the brother is saying Liberia has never been an ally, America has never vice versa, it may say that on paper, but there's not reality. So sometimes we need to wake up from our slumber. I will not prolong it, CEO. We need
Okay.
to wake up.
All right. Thanks, gentlemen. I think this topic is very important and sensitive. But again, what Dr. Water was saying, that shouldn't be a penalty for those hardworking Liberians who are trying their best to get their family here to the United
And
States.
CEO, we all
That
agree with that.
that
We all
no
agree
no
with that. But there's a reason why you close your door before you go to bed.
but what I'm saying here, even though because you have some bad apples in the basket, it doesn't mean all the apple in the basket are rotten.
So close your door and
that
then
shouldn't
you
limit.
reach out the ones that are
Look,
here,
I
send them
think
back,
look,
then you can
let
keep
us,
the good ones. Close your door.
gentlemen, let us put
Sorry,
ourselves in
CEO,
other
go ahead.
people's shoes, right? Let's put ourselves in other people's shoes. What if our wives and our children were back home in Liberia and this restriction comes on? Will you be
CEO,
okay with it? Will you be satisfied?
CEO,
No, because
CEO,
it's
let me
not
say
in our
this.
shoes. So
CEO,
it's okay.
CEO, no, now I got family in Liberia that are on the map to come here, that are willing to come here. But CEO, let me say something. Let's look at
I
the
mean,
whole
you can't
Benny.
ask a question and then just answer yourself.
Right.
If my people are in the same situation, would that be okay? Yes, 100%.
I doubt
I
it.
Maybe
got
maybe building a business so they can have business in
I doubt it.
Liberia.
I doubt it.
CEO,
Oh,
CEO,
okay,
CEO,
bro. All right.
CEO, on a 1 minute here, right? On a
Yeah,
1 minute here.
yeah.
You know why this Venezuela America issue has been a problem to Trump? Every American president that come to office, they play politics with it. But meanwhile, you got American in-house that are dying from drugs. Now, whether you allocate, whether you blame Venezuela for it, something has to be done.
Okay.
And it must take a Trump to say, you know what? Let me stop the drug from the influence of in this country first of all. Then I can look. You cannot
So
fight
so
outside
so
any day.
so
Joe,
the
Joe, I
question
come here,
here,
I come
the question here, the question here, right? And this is what I want us to do. We got to be open minded. Let's look at what kind of
here.
drugs is coming from Venezuela into America, and what kind of drugs are killing Americans. Now,
Thank you.
if we
That's
can
why I said,
distinguish, if we can distinguish what drugs coming from
CEO,
Venezuela and what drugs are killing
CEO,
Americans, then we'll have a
CEO,
sense of direction of what's happening.
CEO,
Don't get me wrong.
CEO,
Donald
CEO,
Trump
you will
has the
agree with
right.
me.
Donald Trump has
You
the
will
right
agree
to
with
protect his country. Yeah,
CEO. You will
yeah,
agree with me that America has one of the best intelligence in the world.
hundred
True or
percent,
false?
hundred
Okay,
percent.
good. So before an America comes to come go after you, they must have done all the work, and all traces must lead to you. Whether it's
Okay,
political, whether it's whatever it is for interest, again, it is what it is. Trump is saying the people that are under my watch as president for these 4 years, I don't want to see them dying from drugs. I don't want to see illegal immigrants coming here. What our people, and they come here. I'm not saying all of them, but they come here and come and get on the status of good people who are supposed to be working, or even on a welfare thing. Okay, what Trump is saying, let us make sure the people that are here are legal first of all. Joe, why would somebody break into your house, go and start stealing, and say, "Oh, send a roll, let me just accept him because he stole"?
so
No,
what do you mean somebody broke into your house? So you're saying that people get on a plane illegally and comes to America?
Joe, whether it comes from the plane or not, whether you come from the way of Mexico or not, there are people who are coming into this country illegally.
I'm not disputing the fact. What I'm
So
saying
fine.
is let's look at the Ohio case where those migrants that came from.
I think we should go to the next topic, because otherwise this case is a very dicey case and open case. If we start on it, we might end up making the case for the
Yeah,
day.
it's gonna drag because you're gonna go to the Asian immigrant what the Joe Biden people brought in to try to populate the
Yeah.
Springfield, Ohio. That's a lot
That
of
is
a
not
lot of
true.
data.
That is not true.
That goes to that
So you're
bubble.
saying that
Is that
you're
lawsuit
saying that
against them right
hold
now?
on, guys, hold on. So the status that were given to refugees from Africa that came to this country, was it meant to populate certain state? You guys need to be let be rational when we're making these comments. There was war
You,
going on in Haiti. Come on, guys, gentlemen, let look at it from a different point. There was destabilization in Haiti, okay, and those people were granted asylum into this country. Like many of us, we were granted asylum in this country. So,
No,
because
Brown. No, Brown.
I'm
The
coming,
thing
sir.
here is
I'm coming.
we have to move to
Wherever
the Liberian topic because you gotta ask why is Haiti destabilized in the first place? Why is Liberia destabilized? Your
Edwin,
so-called friends.
let's
Your so-called
let's
friends.
gentlemen,
Why are you
this is a very
destabilized? Why are you
important
talking on
topic.
the platform right now here in
Gentlemen,
America?
this is a very
So
important
it's a
topic.
long thing,
Let's
bro.
go.
Yeah, it's a
Let's
long
go
thing.
directly to the next topic. I
Let
think
me just say one. Let me just say one more thing, and then we can transition. So I'm just going to read one sentence,
yeah,
and
the
then
book you're going back to, you're going back to the book, and I will tell you, it's not everything you really believe, because you got to look at the reality.
okay.
But
So
go ahead.
This is PBS News. So the United States has historically considered Liberia a close and valuable ally,
I said
maintaining
it.
strong
I said
diplomatic,
it.
economic, and security ties for over 150 years.
Another fake news network you quoting. Okay.
so, brother Jesse and Edwin, are you guys saying that Liberia is not an ally to the United States?
No, Liberia think they're allied to the
No,
United
How will
that's
you
not the
States.
consider
question I
Liberia?
asked.
And
How will you
That's
America,
not the
consider
question.
Liberia in the
no,
United States?
That's
America
not the
is
question
not
I
an ally
asked.
to America.
That's not the question I asked. The question I asked you, you believe that Liberia is not an ally to the United States? Yes or no?
I don't believe America is allied with Liberia. I don't believe that.
You didn't answer my question though.
I'm answering your question. I said
No, you did not.
America is not allied to Liberia. Liberia believe they're allied to America.
Look at gentlemen. Let's go to the next topic.
They
We
people
can
have
we can
CDC
we can
testing
discuss
stuff in
it.
your country and release
We
Ebola
can
on
we
your
can.
country in 2014, bro. Are you kidding me?
So you say it was America that tested Ebola in Liberia?
Yeah, he's going straight to
What
conspiracy theories
scientists?
now.
What
Let's go move
scientists
on,
in
Dodger.
Marshall?
So
What scientists in
hold
Marshall
on,
that were in the lab that
hold
was
on,
studying that Ebola
hold
thing?
on.
What scientists? What is it? Is it German scientists?
Are you saying
Is it Polish scientists?
when
Is
we're
it
coming
Russian scientists?
that they what?
They killed a lady in the. I don't want to get to this. Because you trying to gaslight me, bro. You're
No,
gaslighting
no,
me.
no, no.
You
We
trying to
trying.
gaslight me.
No, no. We're trying to be factual here, and that look at
Under
things
the
from
allyship, you lost 250,000 people by unleashing Chaseda on you. You had Ebola. Under the allyship,
Let's
your
go to the
country is
next topic,
undeveloped.
CEO.
so so
Let's
All
go
of
to
what
the
we're
next
talking,
level.
Edwin, is just
Under the allyship.
conspiracy.
No, it's not
so
conspiracy, it's
No,
facts.
they are all
But Chaseda was
conspiracies.
so
They are
called in a
not based
CIA
in
jail. After
fact.
he escaped, they say he
It's
escaped
facts.
CIA jail.
America, well, yeah, who break jail? Who breaks an
Okay.
They
American
said
jail?
Chaseda break CIA jail. Are you
Who
kidding me?
breaks an American jail?
Gentlemen,
For
Can
which
you believe they said that
250,000 people
Chaseda
died?
broke
Okay,
CIA
gentlemen.
jail?
so what that has to do with the visa pause then?
Okay, good. But we are just making the point of allied and not allied. You got to
We're
again, not
making
anything
the
you
point
read.
that the
But
water.
okay, so let me
That
ask you.
water. I don't know you in person, but I know you're a good person. I've been talking to you on the video and stuff. If anything happens, if even when you say something that go out of the stuff, my first response is not gonna be that the water is bad, evil, and this and this. So let me just take every reasoning away from that the water. That's not what Allah do to you. Allah will go to during the find excuses and say, let's keep this, let's talk to you on the phone. We're gonna keep your so and so
That's
thing.
that's
but
your
I need to
that's
do
your
this. That's
that's
what
your
Allah
that's your
do.
analysis.
That's
That's
what-
your inference.
They don't just put a
Edwin,
clamp down on
Edwin,
you just like that. They
Edwin,
don't just put
That's
clamp
your
on you.
analysis. That
Edwin,
That's
is
your
your
property.
It was
Your
you and
property
Dr.
does
Coleman
that.
that said that the
Edwin,
United States protect their interests,
Edwin, Edwin.
right? So regardless of what ally United States is dealing with, they protect their interest,
Edwin,
right? But
That's what I want you to lose that Allah war towards America and
we're
Liberia.
not doing
no.
Because
We
the
have a
Allah thing,
historical and
you're
traditional
gaslighting
ally.
me. They're gaslighting me.
Edwin. Send me your cash app. Let me send you cash app, my brother. Please, send me your cash app.
I don't have the
All right,
app,
gentlemen.
bro. I don't have the
Gentlemen.
Yeah,
I know.
because I'm telling you, I mean,
So,
people, if
gentlemen.
people are commenting, I think you are the superstar of the day, really.
Gentlemen,
So I don't see
gentlemen.
what's here for Joe and my doctor to defend here. But
There are a
again,
lot to defend. It's factual that
The
like
thing
Liberia
the thing
and the United States are
the thing
allies.
is
No.
common
I
sense.
think
All of
it is
y'all,
people-
you're in the same church.
One, two.
I
All of
think
y'all,
it
you're
is
in the
you
same
people
church. Yo,
that
let
are
us say your
defending
friends.
something.
You're not gonna
Right.
organize the number one punishment for your friends. That's
Okay.
not what Allah do to
Okay.
allies. That's
Alright.
not what it does. It's just common
Sam,
sense.
I think
Allah do not clamp down on
what
their
is-
friends when everything go a little
what
bit
is
something
factual?
haywire.
What is
That's not what
factual
Allah
here?
does.
What is
They
factual
find a
here?
mutual ground
What is-
to understanding and
Sam,
enforce stuff. That's what
Sam.
Allah do to
you
Israel.
come and read
They
again.
put
You
out
come and
Allah.
read
What-
again. You come
What
and
is
read
factual?
again.
What is factual here is that Liberia has been the longest standing ally to the United States in
Okay.
Africa,
All right, well,
and that
let's go
is
to the next
factual.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
factual. And
Okay.
gentlemen,
Okay.
let's go to the next topic.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Let
we
me
have-
have cash app too.
we we are staying enough. We are spending enough time on this one topic. Now we may not be able to absorb all the economic questions or problems that we want to discuss about Liberia here, because we have limited time right now. We at 5:42, and we have about maybe 20 or 30 more minutes to be on. So we want to go into one question, and then we can have some suggestions. And if anybody have any question on that, then we can also talk about it. Really, okay. So, gentlemen, the main question here we're gonna be discussing, and I did post articles on the chart. I think most of you guys have read it. So the only question here I will ask: will Liberia economic system, okay? Can Liberia economy, all right, looking at it right now, and a projection from the World Bank, hoping that Liberia in 2050, we household income or household benefit might be up to $1,000 per household if the economy continue on the trajectory they are on right now. Now, to you as fellow Liberians, and I can go through some of those paperwork and writing. Liberia economy. Can Liberia economy survive without the Liberians in the diaspora? Why and why not? And also, the question here to be asking: Liberia export and import. What are the major source of income for Liberia at this point, and what are some recommendations we all can make to see Liberia economy survive and provide economic benefit for its citizens? So basically, I want us to dissect, talk about Liberia's major source of income, and let's talk about the export and our import. That we are dependent. Liberia economy is solely dependent on mining, uh, exporting, and that places us at a place where we we can be more stagnant, and we can be more troubling at times due to fluctuation in the market. If what we depend on so wholly about our export of gold, natural resources, if the market is fluctuating, we will have our income going up and down. Gentlemen, what are the better ways here we can grow our economy?
All right. See, let me start off.
Okay.
I'm going to begin by saying that the Unity Party and the CDC uh, administrations, they have proven that they don't have what it might take to develop an economy that will produce a private sector. Okay, we have given the Unity Party 14 years. They are yet to prove that they can do it. We gave the CDC 6 years. They couldn't do it. The former finance minister, Armoture, said that the CDC failed to produce an economy that will provide a private sector, and he does not even think that the Unity Party can even do that. Now, the Unity Party presented a $8.4 billion in their arrest agenda, and the IMF said that that projection was very unrealistic, right?
Yep.
It says the projection was unrealistic. In other words, whatever that proposal was, they can achieve it. It's not real. It's
Not realistic.
no, it's not. That's what the IMF said about the Unity Party. So just think about that. So the next 3 years of the Unity Party administration, what do you think they are going to do? Nothing. Okay, nothing. Samuel Tua also says something that I also want to reference in furtherance of my point here. He said that uh, rehabilitating roads, electricity, these things have been institutionalized in Liberia. Any government that comes, they will be able to do that because those things have been institutionalized within our economy, right? So when a particular administration are doing those things, it shouldn't be something that we will credit to them because it has already been institutionalized. They are very easy to do. What needs to be done is to develop the Liberian economy, a private sector economy. That's what has not been done. And that's what we need to focus on, right? Now, to just come to your question, what will we need to, what are the fundamentals of our economy? Right? I will give you two. Right? Number one, but now, I thought this president we have, who worked in the agriculture sector, who was the president for MPMC, I thought he was going to use agriculture as one of the barrack or one of the fundamentals for our economy. I thought our economy was going to be driven by agriculture. I really, really thought that. Okay, but look at the RX agenda. Agriculture is the first. And what are we doing to agriculture? Nothing. Okay, absolutely nothing. CO, nothing, right? So this administration and the CDC administration, when it comes to the economy, they cannot help Liberia with that. They might do other things though. But when we want a vibrant economy, when we want an economy that will provide a private sector, the CDC and the Unity Party are not a party that we can rely on to produce that because they don't have the technical know-how. They don't have the plans. They don't have the know-how to build an economy that will produce a private sector. Okay, so that would be my contribution, and I will come back.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Waller. Brother Edwin.
Um, I think like couple of shows you can go replay. Me and Dr. Waller been seeing we seem to be profit on this stuff because I read the whole details of what you posted. It was 6 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I just took my time to peruse everything that you posted. I read the whole thing. It just pretty much everything that we've been saying. Prioritizing education, creating private sector, not being dependent on import and trying to be an exporter yourself, focusing on security. They listed all of those things. I said it in other podcasts. These people do not know how to create economy, including Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, which is so far our smarter politician ever. They don't know how. The reason why Ellen created a little bit of job for the young folks when she was there because they had own mail there, so she had the security. That's what she was going to be. You had to use the security to create a little bit of stability when she was president. Minus Sans on mill, Ellen Johnson said it would be worse than George Weah. Economically, they just know how to do governmental stuff. There is no way you can have a country to function without educated people, without prioritizing education for the youth, without stabilizing the country through security, and also just having law and order from the top down. You can't do that. You're talking about solution. If anybody listening, because I know now that people are listening, just because we're not on the popularity yet, but people are listening just based on the person that I spoke to. If you put me in Liberia today, on Monday, for me to improve Liberia economically, I would take these steps. I would thin the government from unwanted departments that they have in different representation. Starlink went live in Liberia in 2024. I will make sure and buy every Starlink internet boxes and put in each county to have a government building order so they can provide functions for government and people behind the counter. Very few people to solve Liberian people problem. The free port is gonna be free. I'm gonna go ahead and start institute a plan to issue business license, make it easier for people to get business licenses, make it easier for people to import into the country, and then you issue business licenses at a faster pace, and you collect taxes for them. I would sit with business people, and then basically just tell them we can come up with a deal. If you're coming with this business, maybe you can create 300 jobs. I'm going to give you a tax break for the first 5 years or 3 years. So the 300 jobs that you're going to create, I'm going to tax the employees that are basically going to be working until the business again is settled and getting 5 years of tax break. I'm going to do that. Sit down with sharecroppers, people that are into doing stuff like agriculture and stuff. Sit down with them and see what's the best way you can help them. And then you create a credit union and loan it to a third party so they can be funded. And then you sit down with the creators, the carpenters, the innovatives, all the people, you sit down with them. Within 6 months, you will see Liberia on the pace, and I don't even have a PhD. You'll see Liberia on the pace of what the IMF is detailing. In 6 months' time, you'll see things will start rotating. You do that right now within 6 months. Cut down all the unnecessary branches of government. And take that money, you double the pay for AFL, double the pay for the Liberian police, national police, LMP. so they can ahead of security, pay them 3 times more than what they pay right now. Pay the airfare 3 times more, so we can have security. Cut down the necessary branches of government. That's what I would do to solve this problem. But we're gonna be beating the house right now, and that the water is beginning to sound. You're being frustrated, sounding more than me right now. People not gonna do anything if we keep their pay, because people are just so excited because there's a little bit of calm. People are not doing anything in the background. When you look into the nitty gritty of things with it number wise, like doing stuff, they're not doing anything. They just what they do. They're politicking. That's what they're doing. They're not moving any needles. So because people are immune to not working in Liberia, and they think this is okay, nobody's living like they all want to war anymore. You gotta be able to work out in the morning and go to work and provide for your family. But Liberian people are immune to it. That's why I think Boaga is something, he's doing something he's not. The people are looking behind the scenes. Did you see the numbers in there? They're gonna retrogress to about 4% on our GDP. That's very dangerous. If you ask me for a country, that's very dangerous. The pace that we're on the dangerous pace. That's why I always preach on this thing that we're in triage. We're on triage level. We're not supposed to be handing anything. Well, you know what I mean? The population need the education. People, when we're in Liberia, the time's different over 20 years or whatever. For you to go to a good school, $250, $300 to go to Katira and all the places. Children going to regular school for $800. Are you kidding me? 800 USD to go to a good school. So we will be saying anything like a record level all the time, but we have to say. But me and Dr. Wally Center Park have been
For a
consistent with
country
this
that does not
education
even
and
pay
economic.
that much.
Yep. Country that does not even pay that much, $745 to $800 for a private school. Can you imagine that?
Okay. Thank you. Brother Sergeant Montgomery, you want to comment?
I may forget about my name. But
No, no,
anyway,
no.
let me
No, I was looking at the computer. Something I want to talk about because I just say your name. That's all.
let me
That
say
Trump
this.
defense, that Trump
Yeah,
defense
you
touching.
forget your name because you come in defense CDC.
Let me
Forget your name.
let me say this, CEO. When I hear people talk about the CDC came there and the United Party, for us to be comparing the United Party, who is in a 15th year of governance, to a CDC 3 years, it's just sometimes it's insane to me for people to do that. CDC that was there for 6 years, three of those years was eaten by COVID, for which under a George Manning we are. Liberia stood the test of time when COVID was plaguing every country. The facts are there. It took a boy who came from the slum, who everybody say is uneducated, to stand when even America was brought to her knees. It took a George Weah to control COVID, among other big countries. And yet we are here talking like broad CDC. But let me just say this news flash. To the ANC lovers, let me just tell you, your leader is thinking of dropping out of Liberian politics. Whether you know it or not, this is the man who everybody want to run to, the great economist, the man who sold sugar water across the street, but yet he only want to help Liberia when he becomes president. The man who will never want to start from anywhere, but he must only become president, for which reality is being caught up with him now. The conversation are being held back to that he must drop out because there's no pathway. He doesn't see himself to any pathway. There's no recovery system from a 1%, from a 7% down to a 1%, to attempting to get 50%. It's not possible. So I'm happy that he's beginning to see reality and call it for what it is. That will be on the other side. CEO, you spoke on the remittances, and one of your questions I want to attempt to answer. There's a website called Geminin, right? Geminin, and it corresponds with World Bank as well. According to 2025-2026 statistics that were given out when it comes to remittances, and that's for economic contribution to Liberia, meaning we that are in the diaspora, how much we've been able to contribute to help the GDP of Liberia. From 2025-2026 has been 800 million, which they equate that to 18% to our GDP. So your question, I was listening to carefully. If we are helping to the Liberian economy, and for me, my answer is yes. Liberia will not survive without diaspora Liberia. Liberia will not survive. Better yet, not any other African countries. Most African countries that has the majority of its population outside
Not
in
majority,
the
but
well, most right
yeah.
that are outside in search of greener pasture that to give back to the country, meaning Liberia being one. Liberia will not survive if it's not for the remittances that we've been able to contribute to our GDP that provides us it that makes us the 18% bracket, 18 to 20%. So I just wanted to add that there.
I
So
think
there's no way Liberia will survive.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Sergeant Montgomery. I think the highest remittance ever went to Liberia. I think was during the COVID time. If I
Yeah.
may if I may
No,
be
George, yeah,
wrong,
yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
it was
2023.
during the yeah. But
Yeah.
again, the point we are making here is where do we really want to see Liberia in the future? And with the recommendation and suggestion from the IMF Bank and the World Bank about our economic trajectory to where a household income can be $1,000 in 2050. Look, gentlemen, Liberia is a country who would sort of depend on export to take care of its people. And we so focus on the export of iron ore, gold, rubber, timbers, and we are vulnerable. We are vulnerable to price changes. We are vulnerable to a lot of things. Things are changing around the world. If prices fall on the world market, our economy going to collapse. How much coming into the country will also collapse. There's a record that keeping it says our export was sometimes 40% of our GDP was increased. I mean, based on the export, but now we are at 25% just because of fluctuation in prices in the market. Now, one of the things here, like Brandon, to take a close look at instead of being dependent on export, is the fact of investing in manufacturing. Okay, once we invest into manufacturing, where we have those manufacturing companies in Liberia that can process goods, okay, process those raw material and turn it into usable material that we can sell, it create an avenue for jobs in Liberia. Then we don't have too much problem with just exporting. Now, another one is the our export. I mean, our import. Our import exceed our export. We spend more money on things coming into Liberia than things leaving Liberia. Now, then look at our trading partners on the economic stage, right? Liberia mainly, we trade with Europe, Switzerland, China. We are not exporting a lot of stuff to the United States. We're not exporting a lot of stuff in Africa. Now we export things to Europe, China, Switzerland, and so forth. These are our major countries where we export things. But again, if we, like we all say here, the private sector, if the Liberian government can invest into the private sector, provide security, like we were talking, look at our scorecard, investment into people. We are nowhere. We don't care. We don't invest into our people. We don't care. And if we create an avenue where we have a perfect private sector, where businesses can come in, people can come in, and we have, look at our rate of borrowing money according to our scorecard. Let me come back real quick on something. We don't even protect our natural resources for one fact. Now, the fact that we discuss access to credit is a very important thing in our economy for our economy to survive. And again, gentlemen, I think we spend more money on import of foreign goods that Liberian utilize the most. Let's say rice. Why must we be spending billions of dollars on rice when we do have a fertile soil? The government are not putting priority on things that Liberians need to invest in. Like that, I want to talk about the arrest agenda. It's somebody who served in office, worked in the agriculture sector for 50 plus years. And you telling me you can create a farm to sustain Liberian? So the billions of dollars that are supposed to be going out for rice import, that can be used. The government can involve, can establish a farm and start a rice processing business that will bring and spend that money in our economy. But again, we are here. Liberians are solely dependent on foreign goods to survive. And I think we, as Liberians, we are just one of the laziest people in West Africa.
Roger.
Yeah,
So just we talked about this the other day. Let's start with our staple food, right?
yes, yes,
Right. Um, you take some money, you put it in an agriculture bank,
yes,
whether it's 5 million, 7 million, 10 million. You say this money should just go to people that are producing rice,
yes,
right? And you loan that money to them, just for rice producers to make it easier. And then the government take the initiative to bring in equipment,
yes,
like rice processing equipment, right? You put one in Lofa County that Wapolo and Grand Cape Mount and you know and Lofa can get access to. You put one in Bon County, okay, Nima County, Bon and Grand Bassa can get access to. You put one in the southeastern part of the country, right? And you encourage, or you just divide the country into regions and say this region is going to produce rice, right? And you give that land of credit to that region. They produce the rice, they process the rice, they package the rice. Then the government, all government employees, okay, all government employees just take $10 from all government employees and you subsidize it. Maybe you put another $6 there. Those farmers, because they have the equipment for the process the right, it will not, they are not going to spend a lot on producing, so the cost going to reduce, right? And then you buy the rice from the farmers. You buy the rice from the farmers and you give it to government employees, right? When you buy the rice from the farmers will get money to pay back the loan, and then they will get money to reinvest. Right? When you do that for about 10 to 15 years, that alone going to stabilize your economy, because the foreign exchange you are using to import rice is going to stay in the country. But you will be producing Liberian millionaires within no time, and you will be providing jobs for Liberians within no time, just in the private sector. When that happens on a consistent basis, you will see other people will come from outside of the country that want to come and invest in the rice industry, right? Because they see how profitable it is. When they see how profitable it is, they will come to invest. Agriculture alone can bring a lot of stability into our economy. Just agriculture. Okay, I'm not talking about tourism. I'm not talking about manufacturing. I'm not talking about other sector of the economy. Just agriculture alone. And I'm not talking about even cocoa. I'm not talking about palm. Just rice, our staple food. You just make that investment in Liberian farmers. That's going to make a lot different. Are we doing it? No, we're not. We're not doing it. The decisions, and I agree with Edwin. You know what? When Edwin was speaking, he reminded me. Look, the decisions that our government, I mean, these all of our administrations, the government administration we have had so far, the decisions that they make are all political. It's not to move the country forward. It's to position them for them to win the next election.
Yep.
Okay, so they are not doing anything substantial. They are not doing anything meaningful for progress. For to to develop our economy. No, they are just making political decisions, which is hurting the country. Joseph Walker, who is in his 80s, who will think that, okay, the Papa have no time to go for re-election, so he will pay attention to the fundamentals of our economy. He will have no time to be political. The man is worse. The Papa is worse.
All right, gentlemen.
So
We have
these
minimum.
political decisions are hurting us.
We have
Instead
a.
of doing real investment to create a private sector, we are still taking political decisions because we want to win the next election. Everything they are doing now is for 2029.
Thank you, Dr.
Nothing
Water.
substantial.
So, gentlemen, sorry to say, we may have just maybe 7 more minutes on air. I have to get ready for him. So, I mean, the discussion is good. I think we get to comment from Edwin and Sergeant Montgomery, and then we can just go ahead after that. We just do our closing statement. So, and then we can continue the topic maybe next Sunday, maybe in the near future. But this is a pretty good topic to be discussed. So,
Yeah, and I also feel like we need to hone in on the private sector and economic, because the person that contacted me was talking about, he said, because nobody's doing these things, so you need to, that your strong point, or that your bread and butter or whatever. But the question here is, who has a education reformation bill on hand in Liberia right now? Nobody's talking about it. Nobody. There's no education reformation bill sitting in the hallway of Liberia right now. Nobody even not bring anything close to that. Why is that? Nothing. The country morale is so down, you literally have to pump Liberian people with their own rice before they eat it. That's how down your morale is. My friend from CW called me yesterday. They said they want to love our kind of the country rice just sitting there. The people don't want to buy it. Oh man, instruction. Oh man, they got all the rice piled up. The people don't want to. They have to go there and buy the rice from them for cheap, of course.
terrible.
That's how down your morale is. The country morale is down. If you don't teach people to love, what would any Liberian person love that country for? What kind of identity they're gonna have associated with Liberia right now? What are they gonna be proud of? Education the school fees just going up, skyrocketing. People barely eat. The young kids are all over the place. What you want Liberian people to be proud of? So the morale is down. So now they're brainwashed. Anything that is imported is good. Even if it's expired, it's good. Because the country morale is down. You need an inspirational leader that's going to prioritize things that for once the people want. That only way we can turn it, or we can turn the tide in Liberia.
All right. CEO, let me just make my comment and do my closing. Is that fine? Again, let me just say thanks to our listening audience and my fellow panelists here. It's been a good show. Whilst I do my closing, CEO, there's a background coming from you. There's a sound coming from you, CEO.
Hold on, yeah, I'll fix it. You can stay here and there.
It's much better.
Okay.
Again, whilst I do my closing here, let me just congratulate Grand Crew for winning the county meet in Liberia. Let me just congratulate Grand Crew, and also I just
thought
want to,
Nima Kande
And
won.
Nima County, my man.
you're going to do the research. Let me
It's
congratulate. Let me also take this time to congratulate Senegal for also winning for being the African champions. Let me also congratulate. Well, if you say it's Neymar County, then I got to re-authenticate my record I'm looking at here. But I could be wrong. You guys could be right. But again, if it's Neymar, Then I want to
It's
say
Nima, yeah.
congratulations. Okay, then let me say congratulations to Nima County and Senegal. Senegal has been crowned the African champion of the African Cup of Nations. We are excited. Again, it's come back to the West. But let me do my closing here. Liberia will not be a serious country up until we get rid of the old brainwashed politicians in Joseph Boakai and the rest. And a Cummings who is waiting to become president before he gave back to Liberia, he will be a yesterday man. Cummings, the reality is being kicked in now, is being set in now. They are having family meeting now. But for America, for Liberia to be back on the good books of like for America, for Liberia to be back on the good books of America, two things. Like I said, other show. If Liberia wants to be back in the books of America, get rid of your speaker. That'll be the first thing to do. Get rid of speaker because from where I sit, I see sanctions coming in even onto the governments. Don't ask me where I'm getting it from, but we are getting information that sanctions, heavy sanctions, are coming for the Liberian government. Get rid of your speaker, and you start seeing some good things happening. Ghana, who also is on our list, but Ghana has a clause in our list that gives them an exception. That is to come to the World Cup that will be held. Okay, so when we sit here and say America is an ally, Liberia is an ally, no, it's on paper, but the reality will reflect itself. CEO, anytime a government official of Liberia stands on the world stage and challenge, I'm talking about in Louis Brown, who is the ambassador to UN, represented by Joseph by sent by Joseph Boakai. Under George Weah regime, he was recalled because he did something similar. He disrespected the country. He was recalled. Now again, is this same Louis Brown that is going to represent Liberia and is disrespecting the people. So you will not find anything good come from Liberia under this president 6 years. What I submit, my water, the reading that Dr. Olo gave earlier is true. Those of us who have family that want to send for them via the way of visa coming here to come, that those has been closed. It's not going to happen again. But we are waiting. Again, this is the president. He's going on 4th year now. So you see, time flies. We are going to master the courage to encourage our people to wait. That George Weah is going to come back and put this country on the map that it needs to be. 2002, 3, 2004, when the world was every hope was lost when it comes to Liberia. They took a George Manuel Weah who stood on the world stage. When Denzel Washington introduced this man, y'all know who Denzel is? Do you want to know? I'm gonna tell you the record of Denzel to have stood up on the world stage and said this man has given his life for Liberia and flew the flag of Liberia on a big stage. I'm talking about in the presence of Dr. George Manuel Weah. When they see Louis Brown, who were in Liberia, who contributed to kill almost 250,000 Liberians, standing on a world stage to disrespect America. He and Boakai, who was representing the Lofa Defense Force at the time, it must take again a George Weah who will come back to come and clean the slate of Liberia. So for me personally, I'm going to work tirelessly beyond the clock to make sure George Manuel Weah come back because it's through him that Liberia can see a better future. I submit again. I want to say thank you to my fellow panelists here. Thank you, CEO.
Thank you, Sergeant Montgomery. Uh, so, gentlemen, let's just limit it to 1 minute, please. I have to go.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you
but,
could skip it.
you have to. So let me quickly say that. So the Liberian economy depends mainly on on mining.
Yeah,
The mining sector, we have put a lot of focus on the mining sector. That is iron ore, gold, and even I think Liberia export timbers as well.
yeah,
But I think it is time for us to shift the focus, right? Because those natural resources they're going to finish, right? When we are out of them, what else are we going to do? What are we going to do? That's why we need smart people in government. We don't need these politicians that have no idea on how to create a private sector, how to invest in a country that will provide jobs. The former finance minister said that the CDC government has failed Liberians, and he had not seen the Unity Party working in that direction as well. So let's look somewhere else. Let's look for a third party that we all can rally around, that can deliver to Liberia what we really, really need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Water. Brother Edwin, 1 minute.
Well, being strong economics. Again, I want to tell everybody for turning in. Thank you for turning in. Like, people are actually watching. Like, real people are watching us because we're doing something different. We're not passionate about being partisan. I know we got Sergeant Montgomery in social sedition, but that's fine. But people are watching because of our different approach towards Liberia solution based. So, as an economic can be created from thin air. We still yet don't know the potential of the Liberian kids because they're not educated. We don't know what they have. Every time we talk about economy, we go straight to natural resources. We go to iron ore. And true. That's the number one that thing you can see. But you don't know what in the minds of the Liberian kids. You don't know if you have car creator. You don't know if you have people that can create crazy furniture design. You don't know that because they're not educated. That's why I preach reformation and on education on the on the platform here. Because I went to school a lot of I quit again. I went to school a lot of smart kids that were very, very genius. I could do a lot of stuff. And just for you to go to waste 40-year-old getting bald head and all that stuff. It's crazy. So as I know what the Liberian kids can do. I really do. I'm a firm supporter and believer in the Liberian kids, the things they can do, but it's not being actualized because they don't have education. So I preach that on here. Liberia should approach their allies with the business sense.
Okay.
America has always sought their own interests,
All right.
whoever they are allied with. America foreign policy is to import workers from other places to that country. They don't care about you. They don't want your place to be good. So you need to think about it that way. They want you to be here to help support the economy. So
Thank
if
you.
that people start thinking that way, maybe they can focus on themselves.
All right. Thank you, Brother Edwin. Once again, I just want to say thank you, gentlemen, for staying tuned and being here today and giving out your input on how Liberia can be rebuilt. Thanks again, wonderful gentlemen. Please have a wonderful and blessed